Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to day 6 of the 31 Days of Horror. D Bougie 86 back up in this. And today, I'm going back to 2005, so you know what that means, guys. We're reviewing a little movie known as Man Thing. That is right. Man Thing is a very interesting thing. What am I talking about? But anyways, Man Thing from 2005 is a film directed by Brett Leonard, who actually has directed a few movies that I know of. Actually, the same year, he also directed the film Feed, which I'll be checking out soon for the same purposes I checked this one out again. This is another one that was FearNet exclusive that I used to watch on FearNet all the time growing up, and it's based off the Marvel comic book, character, Man Thing. It's kind of like their competition was Swamp Thing with DC, and they made their own version of Swamp Thing pretty much with Man Thing. I'm actually not very familiar with the comics, which when my final thoughts of this movie come out, you might understand why I say things I do later on. But back to Brett Leonard, he directed Feed from the same year. He also did The Dead Pit, The Lawnmower Man, Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe for a few of his movies that he has done. But yeah, he did a Marvel horror film pretty much, based off a Marvel comic book character. Now, the main set of this one is it starts out with usual, like, mysterious things you hear, like an old, like, Native American thing, warning about nature and don't fuck with nature, that type of deal. Then cuts to, like, this hot party with these this young girl and young boy are like, let's get it on, you know what I mean? But then he gets killed by something that we don't see, and it fades to black, and then we get the title, Man Thing. And then it sets up our movie, and we introduce to our main hero character, Kyle, the new sheriff of this town. As we find out, there's been a lot of disappearances later in this community, including the previous sheriff. And pretty much what we find out is there's a new developer in town that's taking over the swamp, rebuilding it, building new things around it. And a lot of the townspeople, including Terry, the school teacher who leads like this group against this new developer, are not cool with. And we find out maybe or maybe not the disappearances could also be led back to this developer and his crew of people. While this is going on, and while Kyle is doing his investigation on the disappearances and the ongoing murders that happen once he gets there, he discovers that there is this mythical Native American creature known as the Man Thing that is actually killing people. And we find out they may be people that might be connected to the disappearances and the way that the nature and the developer himself. So that is the major plot of this movie. Now, I actually like this movie. And I know a lot of people are like, what? You like Man Thing. The thing is, I didn't grow up with the comic book, so I have no idea how this character is supposed to be. And a lot of the negativity of the reviews that I hear come from fans of the comic. I could see that. You can see that with a lot of, like, anything that's based off the source material. If it's not faithful to it and it changes that character in a drastic way. This one, I believe, does that a lot, and it takes liberties with the character of Man Thing. So I'm going to say this. If you take it as it is, as a kind of like a creature feature, it's not actually that bad. If you take it as an adaptation of the source material, then I could get it. I could get the negativity of this review and of the things. But I'm not saying this film's a fucking masterpiece either. It's flawed. It has steel performances by some of the cast. The Kyle character is kind of he's a one trick pony of like his acting type, if that makes sense. There's a lot of like generic like tropes of like these type of movies within this movie. And, with that being said, I can see why people would not care for this movie as much as I do. But I love the look of the Man-Thing. And, it's a mixture of practical and, like some CGI. It's not even that much of a terrible CGI either. It's used in the right amounts, in that sense of like in the dark, which kind of helps CGI in general when it's filmed in dark locations. It's not that bad, and I like the look of it when it's just standing there looking all fucking angry and pissed off, It's just, I had fun with it, There's a good kill count. There's some great, like, after effects of gore scenes where you see, like, this dude with a branch sticking out of his fucking mouth in half, and there's another dude with, like, twigs pulling his fucking eye out in a tree. There's some good kills in this movie, and, that aspect of it, if you're a creature feature fan, you should dig this. It's a story that's been told plenties of millions of times, and in the sense of this, with looking back on 2005, there's a lot of these type of creature feature movies that came out during that time. I gotta watch a few of them, like Cerberus and Locust, the Eighth Plague. This one I like the Native American aspect of this movie too. And like I liked with the last movie I reviewed, not every character is a good guy. Everyone has their own demons, and I like that aspect of characters in movies. Is the acting flawed? Yes. Is the movie bad? No. And another negativity thing that I could say is I think the movie does run a little too long. It is like almost like 2 hours. It's like an hour and 41 minutes. And it could have been like an hour and a half, to be honest. I'll be honest with that aspect of the movie. But overall, I still enjoy Man-Thing for what it was. I could see what Brett Lennon was trying to do with directing. He didn't write the script. So it's not really his fault that it's not, the character is not what it is, and from the comic book. It's like from... the film actually looks better than a lot of the 2005 movies that I've seen so far. It has a good like stylistic aesthetic to it, and has some good swamp atmosphere throughout it, which, a lot of the movies from 2005 and that early 2000s era are kind of degrade as they go on in quality and through, like from that time period to now to 2020. And this one still looks very good. The cinematography is actually not bad in this movie. I was just watching this on DVD. It looked like I was watching it on a Blu-ray. That's how good the cinematography was in this movie. It looks crisp and it looks very modern. But Man-Thing, like I said, if you look at it as just a creature feature, it's not bad, but if you look at it as an adaptation, it's a bad adaptation. Even I could consist with the things I looked up and researched on Man-Thing itself, where it changed the character drastically, and I could see why a lot of fans would hate this movie. But overall, I enjoyed it for what it was and what it did. It's a shut your brain off movie for me. Am I going to rate it high? Probably not. If I was going to rate it, probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I still have a lot of fun with this movie, even though it's aged kind of in different parts, not as well as others. But yeah, Man-Thing, check it out. I don't know. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Wow, that was a long ass review for Man-Thing. You didn't expect that to come. But anyways guys, I'll be back tomorrow or another one. Not sure what I'm going to review, but I'll be there. Peace.